There are two ways to live life, and the difference between them defines absolutely everything. The first is where most people live without even realizing it, where you usually hear, "I am like this," or "I am this way because that's just how it is for me." My life is like this because of where I live. Who I am is limited by what exists out there. And without even realizing it, you live in survival mode, just reacting to what happens to you, to what people have told you, to what you believe is possible in that moment. And the other way, which isn't so common but once you understand it there's no going back, is when you stop seeing yourself as just part of a world full of different things and start seeing yourself as someone who is creating your own world. If you don't come to value yourself, you define yourself as an organism, as something that lives within limits, within linear time, within a certain space. At that point, you become dependent on circumstances, on what might happen to you, on what others do or might stop doing. But when you recognize yourself and start to see yourself differently, you tell yourself something completely different inside. I create and shape my own environment. I don't just adapt, I influence it, and I don't just react, I'm the one creating it. And this is a completely different way of acting and being. You no longer say, "That's just life, that's what I got." And we start to ask ourselves what it is that we're holding onto that makes our life this way. And that's where real change begins, where we tell ourselves, "I am free in this time and space. I am free in my perception of what reality is." Because when you live trapped within the limits of your mind, you live thinking about the past, you live thinking about the future. But when you're present, when you're aware, you're no longer reacting to time, you're already creating your reality in the present, in the here and now. That's why there are people who, in the same environment, create completely different lives, some for the better, in abundance, and others in scarcity, even though they live through the same circumstances. And that means you have the creative potential to create your own reality from within, with your ideas, your emotions, your decisions, by reprogramming your beliefs. But if you don't recognize yourself, if you don't value yourself, you'll use the potential to limit yourself. Because yes, you can also create from a place of lack. You can create from fear, from the belief that you can't do it. And then, well, it turns into a cycle, a loop. It's not that you're creating, you're just someone who keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. Maybe life won't change until you change the way you see your life or the way you see yourself, because you can keep seeing yourself as something limited, or you can recognize yourself as someone who influences your reality. It's not about what you have, it's not about what happens to you on the outside, it's about where you're defining yourself from. Because the moment you stop telling yourself that everything is just happening to you, that you're a victim, and you start saying, "I'm taking part in my life, I'm the co-creator of what I do in my reality," everything starts to move in your favor. And this isn't because the world outside is changing, but because you stop seeing yourself as small within it. Alright, we'll leave this little reflection here for now. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment, share this video, and I wish you lots of abundance. Thank you.